welcome to the 41st episode in our AI and You podcast series. Today is Friday, February 19th, 2021, and I'm your host, Fikar Saidi. I'm a computer scientist, an engineer, a lecturer, and a consultant. I'm also the author of several books. My most recent book is about artificial intelligence and is titled The Genome Affair. The Genome Affair is a speculative work. It examines what the world might be like if some of the more extraordinary capabilities forecast to be realized in AI over the next 20 to 30 years were actually realized today. Given the growing list of frightening existential threats humankind now faces, the book pays particular attention to the impact AI is expected to have on world affairs. The book is available in ebook format for those who prefer to read on a digital device, but it's also available in a high-quality paperback edition. The Genome Affair is available on Amazon, so I hope you'll take the time to read it and to leave a review. Amazon book reviews are very helpful for writers. I'm very interested in how science and technology influence world affairs and the big questions facing humankind. Studying at the confluence of the great disciplines of human history, political science and thought, international affairs, science and technology offers a deep understanding and pedagogically important lessons of how advances in human endeavor have influenced and impacted civilization. I'm available to give talks on artificial intelligence and its related technologies, and on the impact AI is expected to have, or is already having, on our world. If you'd like to get in touch with me to arrange a web-based event or consulting meeting with your company or organization, you can find my contact info in the podcast notes below. Please make sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share it with others if you find the content valuable. Thank you. And now, on to today's podcast. In our last podcast, episode 40, I spoke about the growing threat from cybercrime and the role artificial intelligence can play in containing malevolent state and non-state actors. In today's podcast, episode 41, I'll talk about what AI will mean for the future of work. Let's get started. As artificial intelligence becomes increasingly pervasive throughout society, many well-meaning AI experts and public intellectuals are working to reassure people that artificial intelligence isn't the threat to their economic future or way of life that they've heard or imagined. AI proponents use disarming language and words such as augment and collaborative to soften the blow that words like displace or replace might otherwise inspire. It is more reassuring and acceptable to think about and visualize a world where AI is supporting us in our roles, hence setting us free from the performance of tedious activities so we can engage with more intellectually stimulating and therefore fulfilling tasks. It's certainly reassuring for us to believe that we will remain in control of our world and that AI will be subservient to us and will only augment our efforts. To be fair, in the near term, augmentation and collaboration are probably accurate when we consider the impact AI will likely have on many human vocations. For example, it's unlikely that radiologists will be substantially replaced by artificial intelligence this year, or even in the next 5 years. But by 2030, replacement may be much more likely the rule rather than the exception. Thus, it may be best for us to face reality now and be more straightforward when discussing the impacts AI is likely to have on jobs. AI continues to advance with each passing day and is becoming faster, less expensive, and more precise in its results. Given this unmistakable trajectory, it's exceedingly likely that AI will displace hundreds of millions of workers across the spectrum of occupations by the end of this decade. In fact, this is the forecast from labor economists in Germany. They have projected the displacement of 800 million jobs worldwide by the end of the decade, with about 73 million of those jobs being in the United States alone. With this reality in mind, if we are to effectively prepare ourselves for the impact that AI will have on society in the coming years, it is important for us to be more forthright when discussing this issue with society. We must accept that AI is not just another device or tool that can make our work and lives easier or more comfortable, so we need to rethink our future proactively. At the same time, politicians realize that an issue of such dramatic consequence is political dynamite, so the political class has been steering clear of any discussion regarding this gathering storm. In the 2020 election cycle in the United States, there was no mention of AI or any other fourth industrial revolution technology and its implications for the future of work. Entrepreneurs, politicians, scientists, and technologists have much to gain by leading citizens and the electorate to believe that AI will not replace them, but will simply augment or complement them in the workforce. Employment remains one of the basic social and political necessities in every society in the world today. To be openly advocating, promoting, or otherwise working towards technologies that will result in the destruction of jobs is a losing proposition for any academic institution, commercial enterprise, or political party. So business leaders often claim that AI will bring humans and machines closer together. They say AI is not about machines replacing humans, but machines augmenting humans. Humans and machines have different relative strengths and weaknesses, and the combination of these two will enable businesses to dramatically improve things in the future. This is all just a pleasant way to soften the blow that AI will eventually deliver. But the fundamental long-term objective of AI is to perform the very same function humans can perform, but to be able to perform them more precisely, more cost-effectively, and much quicker than humans currently can or will ever be able to. Once AI fulfills this fundamental objective, there will be no credible economic or social reason for the continued involvement of humans in a multitude of areas of endeavor or occupation. Consider self-driving vehicles. Once an AI agent can more safely operate a vehicle in all conceivable conditions than a human can, there will be no justification for humans to continue to drive buses, taxis, trains, or trucks. AI agents in command of these vehicles will never exceed speed limits. They will never be distracted, and they will never drive while inebriated. Such AI agents are capable of staying on the road indefinitely, without any negative consequences. Although the technology companies that are now developing these AI agents are unlikely to acknowledge these realities, their long-term objective is not to simply augment or collaborate with humans who currently perform these or so many other functions, but rather it is to unequivocally replace them. This is where the return on their investment truly lies. Consider the field of radiology. The primary task of a radiologist is to examine various modalities of medical images in an effort to confirm or reject the presence of some pathology. This is essentially an exercise in pattern recognition and object detection across a range of diagnostic images. As it turns out, this is exactly the optimal capability of a deep learning neural network underpinning AI. A common refrain in the radiology community is, AI will not replace radiologists, but radiologists who use AI will replace radiologists who do not. In other words, radiologists must move towards the new reality in which they use AI agents to assist them and collaborate with them in their work. Undeniably, in the short term, this is likely to be precisely the case. AI systems are generally unlikely to replace humans overnight, not in radiology and not in any other field, simply because it will take time to develop the technology to a degree where it can comprehensively replace humans. Initially then, AI will augment human radiologists. AI agents will be used to confirm a radiologist's initial findings or medical opinion, or to help examine the ever-growing volumes and modalities of diagnostic images, to triage them into an order that will then require human review. By the middle of this decade, once it is confirmed that AI agents are superior to human radiologists at identifying and diagnosing pathology across all modalities of images, it will no longer make commercial or medical sense to continue using radiologists. AI agents are able to review images instantly, and they can do so for patients anywhere in the world, while simultaneously continuing to improve their performance with each image they read. Thus, in the controversial words of the godfather of deep learning neural networks, Geoffrey Hinton, we should stop training radiologists now. If you work as a radiologist, you are like Wile E. Coyote in the cartoon. You're already over the edge of the cliff, but you haven't looked down. What will this mean for humankind? It is very likely that there will be a great deal of human suffering, emotional, financial, and social, as a result of this new age of massive job loss. And these losses will take place across all geographies, industries, and social strata. It is probable that we will witness job redundancy in areas as diverse as actuaries and accountants, bankers and booksellers, cashiers and clinicians, livery drivers and lawyers. During this decade, human workers across the economy will increasingly find their skills out of favor and their roles obsolete, as increasingly sophisticated AI systems are able to perform so many activities better, cheaper, and faster than humans have ever been able to. This is an inevitability that is best acknowledged today, so we can plan for the impending storm. In a future essay, I'll discuss what leaders of society can do to prepare for the impacts of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Thank you for spending some time with me. I'm trying to follow the TED Talk format, and so I'm keeping these podcasts under 20 minutes. Let me know what you think. I hope you'll find these insights into artificial intelligence helpful, and I hope you'll read my new book, The Genome Affair. It's on Amazon. Until next time then, this has been the AI and You podcast with author Vicar Saidi.